Hey, thanks for tuning into the Landed Home Show. Today we're talking just to the sellers. Hi, I'm Stephen J.B. Davis, your land specialist and residential realtor here in Central Kentucky and beyond. And this seller's video is just kind of like the last video, just for the buyers. 3 main ideas to know, understand, dare I say, accept as you go into selling a piece of property. I think if you start with these 3 things in mind and have a good grasp of how you answer these questions and grapple with these questions, then you are pretty well prepared for all of the other things that end up happening over the course of a transaction. So let's get started. The first concept to grapple with is getting top dollar. That's what your listing agent wants for you. That's what you want for you. But that does not come without some amount of work and realities. And top dollar is a basic formula. That basic formula is condition of the property and market combined with the location. When you put those 3 things together, then you get some dollar amount that people are willing to pay. Now, you can't control the market, right? You can't really control where it is, but you can control the condition of that property. And sometimes that means that there's a ceiling. There's only so much someone's going to pay in a certain neighborhood. You can be in a neighborhood full of $400,000 homes and say you stick $1 million worth of renovations into it. Well, I hope you enjoy living there, but you've now priced yourself out of a place where someone can get a pretty nice home for $400,000. Maybe you've raised everyone's home value to $450,000 around the area, but no one's going to pay you that $1 million back when there's a bunch of other stuff that they could get for $600,000 less. So that top dollar that you can get is still dependent upon where you are, as well as the condition of the market around you, be it the neighborhood, be if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. There are those 2 variables that you can't control, and then you've got to think about the property itself, the part that you can control, depending on your resources and your timeline, all that stuff. But it's relatively in your control what your property looks like and the kinds of improvements you do make or don't make. How you make those decisions when you're getting ready to sell is partly a conversation that you have with your listing agent, as well as a conversation that you have with your budget. And wherever you land is where you'll ultimately land on that top dollar. You might just get middle dollar. You might get above average dollar. You might get the dollar of your dreams, but it's really dependent on that variable. It's really dependent upon where you are, the market conditions, both hyper locally and buyer seller's market kind of thing, and then what you're able to do on the property itself. So the second thing that you have to contend with is this idea of listing versus selling. I get this question a lot when I'm in listing appointments. What can we list for? Well, we can list for anything. I'm interested in selling your property. Any agent that you have decided to work with, they're interested in selling your property. No one gets paid, including you, until the property is closed on. And so it is very attractive, understandably, to be like, I want to list for as high as possible. And often listing as high as possible seems to be divorced from people's minds of, well, what is the highest possible price that someone will pay? That's where we do comparative market analysis. That's where we start talking about improvements in your home and changes that you might be able to make in order to get some more money from a buyer. And so if you're not willing to make changes, for instance, or you're a seller in a buyer's market, or maybe the location just isn't a place where people want to be, listing for a really high price without this trifecta of things working means that you're likely going to sell for not close to that high list price at all. So when we talk about listing versus selling, it's important that you focus on the sell part. Where does the market say you are most likely to get money? Now, there's always going to be an upper end and a lower end, but if you're within that realm, and depending on these market conditions and all these other things, you'll sell somewhere in there. But if you start way out of pocket, pretty much not having this trifecta of good conditions, good location, then you're going to be in a place where you better adjust that price fast, or if you don't do that fast, people are going to wait. They're going to look at you, drop the price, and then there's this perception of, ooh, there's something must be wrong. They've got to move, and so then they further discount you, and then you get into this thing of, okay, well, what do I need more? Do I need to be done with this fast, or do I try to take the money now? Like you're in just a total pressure situation, because we've started way outside of bounds, frankly, and can't really take back the perception of, oh, it's been on the market for 100 days. Oh, it's been on the market for 200 days, or whatever the case may be. I have sadly seen a lot of sellers go through this, my own clients, and against my better advice, where I'm like, hey, if we price this more competitively, we have a better chance of bringing in that competition, as opposed to alienating buyers who, in this day and age with the 21st century and having Zillow and all these other things, they know a lot about price. They've been watching neighborhoods. They've been watching areas where land has been selling. And, you know, when something sticks out like a sore thumb price-wise, they know it. Like, you're not really pulling any wool over anyone's eyes in that sense. And with these sellers, they change the price too late, because that's always your call. I don't decide the price. I don't decide when you do what. You make the decisions. But if you're listing on hopes, if you're listing on really, really outside types of chances, you often will be disappointed in the end unless you course correct really, really quickly. So don't be so focused on listing, be focused on selling. It's raining and I had to move. The last concept that you need to contend with as a seller is the reality that everything you put into a home is not what you're going to get out. There are two kind of modes of investment when you own a property. There's the cost of doing business, right? So there's paying your real estate agent that helps you list and sell your home at the end. There's stuff like cleaning your house, whether you do that professionally or not, that still costs money, right? Whether you buy your own cleaning products or you hire a service, there are just things that you have to do to present your home in the best light. And those things are not going to get you $10,000 and $20,000 back in investment. Those are it's just the cost of business. And then there's those second types of costs where, like having a brand new roof. Now, the amount of the percent that you get back on doing that is going to vary from state to county to neighborhood, but having a new roof, that's a pretty big return on investment. That has just extended a large portion of the life of the home, whereas you stuck in $20,000 worth of wonderful landscaping with all these flowers that maybe people care about or don't care about. That's for your own enjoyment. That is not something that's going to garner a bunch of this money back that just because you spent it. So understand that not everything you put in is going to get you something back out from a dollar for dollar. And then even when you get something back out, it's not a one-to-one. You spent $40,000 on your roof, it doesn't make your home worth $40,000 more dollars. Not in most cases. I think that there's probably some example out there, right, where you could say, Stephen, well, you're wrong. Well, sure. But in most cases, reasonably speaking, the things that you put into a home, renovating a kitchen, new bathrooms, new roof, stuff like that, you get money back, but you're not getting 100% of it back. So with that, those are the three things. Number one, just considering that top dollar is a marriage between the condition of the home, the condition of the market, and where the home is. This also applies to land. The The second thing is, are you trying to list and feel good about the way the price tag looks, or are you trying to close? Are you trying to actually sell? And what is it that actually gets people to come in the door? What kind of price what does that price look like? And then lastly, not everything you put in a home is going to necessarily get you money out. And if you do get money out of what you put into it, it's not going to be a one-to-one type of return. I hope that helps. I'll be doing more videos as always, and thank you for watching. Adios.